Sometimes dead is better.
The following podcast is not responsible for Pete.
What? What are you talking about?
Well, I didn't. It was the voiceover guy. He was just making sure that, everyone was in the loop that there is another Pete pick on this week's episode.
But it's a banger, isn't it?
I enjoy it.
Boy, Nate, you're a little hot and cold here.
It's really hot in here, fellas. It's really... Whoa. I don't want to... Pete, take it over.
Oh, God. Okay, fine. Welcome back to Give Me Back My Horror Movies. My name is Pete. Joining me tonight is Charlie. Hello, Charlie.
Hello, Pete.
Nate is also with us. We're not sure what's wrong with Nate. We think he may have, lost a couple of brain cells. I do know that you're drinking tonight, right, Nate?
I'm only having one. I'm being responsible. It's a Monday.
You don't have to drive anywhere.
Yeah, but I got to wake up.
Okay.
That's the hard part.
Moving along. Welcome back to the show. It is Dustin. Dustin, hello.
My name is Horace.
Oh, I'm sorry. Horace. That's right. It says your name right there. Very good. And also, once again, from the Flicks and Friends podcast, it's Paul. Paul, welcome back to the show.
Oh, first time.
Well, that's why you don't let me drive this car.
Hey, it's fine. Took us off a cliff.
Hey, it's fine.
No, that can't be right.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, everyone's first time is awkward. So it makes sense that it went this way.
Yeah, this is really strange. I'm like, no, Paul's been on this show before. I swear it. I'm like thinking of a movie. I'm like, no, he definitely was not.
We've been on their show a number of times. Okay,
we're just fumbling in the dark right here. It's natural.
Oh yeah.
Like just two teenagers in the back of a sedan, just
in the back of a Volkswagen.
Yeah, Volkswagen. There we go.
We're getting DP tonight.
Oh yeah, baby.
So we got a big one tonight.
So disappointed right now.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I thought this was a kid-friendly show. I wanted to make that joke.
But Dr. Peppers. Dr. Peppers. I forgot.
Dork Peppers.
What happens when we don't have structure. Okay.
This is what happens on a Pete-centered episode.
Hey,
the guy warned everyone.
You were supposed to drive, and you handed the wheel off to me, and so I drove it right off the road.
The problem is Nate literally just took the wheel off the column and handed it to me. Now we are careening off the cliff.
You got this, right?
Who does that? Do I have this? Tonight, the one, the only Monster Squad. From all of our childhoods, we love it, and I've already forgotten what year it was. 1984, was it?
Correct.
87. You're way off, Pete.
Now, it's not that far off.
One thing, this movie was selected by the audience, so they got to choose what movie we get to do.
Indeed.
Yeah, audience.
Good job, audience.
Looking at you.
We have a couple of sourpusses in the audience,
not because of this movie.
We're also not because of this movie. We're also part of the audience too.
Yeah, we are part of the audience.
You got a bone to pick with the audience.
Yeah. I listened to a whole panty head episode, and I can't even get one Power Rangers
You should watch
episode.
the movie. It's wonderful. How about we not talk about panties on this?
No, we don't talk about HK, especially during Kids Month. It'll get you on a list.
Absolutely get you on a list. So no, we put out a poll for everyone to pick a kid-friendly horror movie. Nate and I put up some selections that we knew we were losing. As soon as Pete said Monster Squad, there was no contest.
There was no way we were going to win.
It won by a landslide. I'm pretty sure the only people that voted for mine and Nate's movies was me and Nate. So that's why we were doing Monster.
I didn't pick a good one. That's on me.
I went quirky and also a Fred Drecker movie. So, I picked House 2. So at least I was in the same vein.
Counter puppies are so cute.
They're adorable, and I do love that movie.
And Mummy Grandpas, yeah.
Oh yeah. But that's That's why we're here right now. But no one can deny that Monster Squad is literally one of those movies that when you want to get your kids watching a little bit more, I don't want to say adult because there's nothing adult about this movie, but a little bit more frightening, a little bit more intense of a horror movie, but still super kid friendly.
I guess PG-13, just Goonies with horror is the best way to put it.
Yeah,
Goonies meets Universal Monsters.
With just a splash of gore in it. Yep.
Which
but
actually,
somehow they're a little rougher than the Goonies even were too. So I mean, it's
Fred Dreger talks about in Wolfman God Nards how he wrote this script as the idea of Little Rascals meets Universal Monsters. That was his whole idea. Is what this exactly?
I see that a lot more than I do the Goonies aspect.
Yeah,
I get the Goonies as far
just
as
because of the time,
kids on an
and
adventure.
The dog,
yeah.
Well, they even had the He-Man Woman Hater Club.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
No girls allowed.
That clubhouse.
Choice.
Oh, yeah. They had multiple
where did they
levels.
get the zombie poster in
Levels,
1987?
It looked into the window of the girl next door. Yeah, it was great.
One of the kids' sisters.
That's not creepy at all.
Not whatsoever.
That's us boys being boys.
With cameras set up and binoculars.
It's one of these. There are a lot of things really wrong with this movie that in today's eyes we're like,
yeah.
And we
fat
just
shaming. There's slut shaming. There's a lot of shaming in this movie that would not fly today.
Slurs, there's all sorts of rough language for small kids. Anyway, it was a product of the time, and this is one of those movies where you got to look at the movie in a time capsule, not in today's eyes, or you're just going to tear it apart and you'll never enjoy it. And there are people today that are going to be just like that. They're not going to be able to watch this movie without thinking, this is completely on PC, which it is, and I can't enjoy it because of all the things that aren't cool today, the things that aren't acceptable today. So I don't know. Is this something where, since we lived through this time, we're able to separate time and place?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the show's about. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But can folks today, can they do it?
So
it depends.
Right. It's a good lead in because I showed this movie to my wife. Had never seen this movie. She's older than me and had never seen this movie. It just like a lot of people haven't seen this movie. It just kind of skipped a lot of people.
Mind-boggling. You haven't.
It was hard to find for years. That was the biggest problem. But my kids have obviously never seen it. And for Halloween, we do a family movie night every week. And that was my pick this past October because they'd never seen it. And everyone absolutely loved the movie. My wife absolutely loved the movie. But when we got to those parts, I had to explain to my kids because they know those are words we don't use. They know they're words that they're hurtful words. And I was like, understand. I was like, this is just a product of its time. Because there are modern films that use those words, but they use them to define a character or so on and so forth. But I told them, I was like, this is just a product of the time. It was I guess there's just a little less understanding of what those words could really mean to people and how they treat people, they know not to call kids fat and they know not to call kids sluts and stuff like that. So it's just explained to them as they watch it, but it didn't take away them enjoy the film. They're like, okay, I know I can't do those things, say those things, but I can still find value in this movie.
It's almost like you decide to be a parent and do what you're supposed to do. That's weird.
And then he'll take Milo to go see Violent Night.
Yeah, I took it in the theater.
As you're supposed to do. Once again, he's just being a parent.
The boy must grow to be a warrior.
I said, let the boy watch.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get everybody in the mood here real quick because we're already into the heavies of this movie. But let's go ahead and hit the trailer because, yes, trailer. Thank God.
And then I got a thing after the trailer to read.
And then Nate has a thing.
See your thing, Nate. I told you.
I'm pulling it out.
Put the dork away.
You know who to call when you have ghosts. But who do you call when you have monsters?
We're the Monster Squad. What's a squad? It's like like my own advice, I think.
They're young and inexperienced.
Naughty virgin.
They're a bit disorganized.
Monsters are not real.
We don't know that, sir.
2,000-year-old dead guys do not get up and walk away by themselves.
But when strange things start happening in town...
There's a monster in my closet.
Whoa! Look at that big, scary monster!
What's happening? You wait till a werewolf.
Silver bullet?
They're the only ones ready to do battle.
Something's out there that's killing people. And if it's monsters, nobody's gonna do a thing about it but us.
And the creatures of the night rule the world.
Real monsters? Us? Midnight. In the world, remember? Maybe we can be like Mass Squad and Stitch, you know? 2 mass bombs.
Yeah, 235, stick back up! Hurry up!
Or Nature Squad. The book is right. Don't you see it's all true?
By midnight,
You guys!
they won't seem so young anymore. The Monster Squad.
Wolfman's gone mad.
There's you an 80s trailer.
Yeah, that's a good trailer.
Quality.
Yeah.
All right, Nate. You said you had
All
something
right.
to whip out on us, so
I do. So this comes from the director, Fred Decker himself. And this was part of the 20th anniversary. So this has been, it's getting closer to 30 years at this point. But anyway, he said 20 years ago, Monster Squad was released to dismissive critical reaction and anemic box office. To quote my longtime agent, the silence was deafening. Years went by. Then something odd happened. I began to get inklings the movie was being discovered on cable and home video. T-shirts and VHS tapes started popping up on eBay. There were punk bands and websites. A waiter once looked at my credit card receipt and said, "Are you the Fred Decker who directed the Monster Squad?" When I said yes, he asked for an autograph. Cut to, as we screenwriters say, April 2006. Thanks largely to Eric Vesp of Ain't It Cool News, I was sitting in the lobby of the Alamo Draft House in Austin, Texas, signing more autographs. Lots of them. Because there was a line of fans out the door and down the street. All of them there to see the movie on the big screen. That night, the Monster Squad played the 2 sold-out screenings, cheering crowds. More screenings followed all over the country. Then conventions and personal appearances. The fan base was proving itself not only passionate, but also huge. And, without fail, every other question was the same. Where's the DVD? As you hold the answer to the question in your hands, it is finally, gratefully occurs to me, the movie did find its audience after all. It just took 20 years. And yes, Wolfman still has nards. So, a couple things here of why I wanted to read it. It's kind of shocking to know a movie of this stature, it took till 2006 to get a release. That is not even getting a, one of those old school DVDs that have like the black snap.
Yeah. The cardboard, the black snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dog likes to eat back in the day. Cardboard tastes good. But then also this leads to, I didn't see this movie till like maybe 8 years ago. I've only seen this movie once until last night.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. That's, to be honest, man, I'm envious of you. To be truthfully honest.
But like that also led to why we brought on Dustin and Paul, because I know they're huge fans of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to take it away with them with their first memory of this.
Let me just say something though, real quick.
Yeah.
I need to correct what you just said.
What's that?
Not about Fred Decker. It's about that you had Dustin and Paul come on. I was absconded by in the group chat going, "Hey, when are you guys recording? Because we're going to come on." Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but there was no. Hey, would you guys like to come on? It was, you ain't doing this without me, and I'm bringing Paul with me.
Hey, I'm just an innocent bystander,
and you're upset by this.
You see,
no, I just needed to clarify what happened. If you were a narrator, you got it wrong.
I'm here at gunpoint. Okay.
Yeah.
So...
you see, what happened is I reached out and I said, "Hey, when are me and Paul coming on to do the Monster Squad?"
I'm glad you both were free.
Yeah.
They didn't quit their jobs or
Hey.
anything like that.
And to defend Charlie, Dustin did tell me that he goes, Dustin goes, "Hey, the guys really want us on for Monster Squad."
It's not that we didn't.
Charlie, I think you and I are victims here. We're victims in this story, Charlie.
Somehow it just kind of happened. And I just love how Nate's like, "Hey, we had the good graciousness to invite him onto the show." And I'm like, "That is not what happened, sir. We need to get this narrative correct."
Invite revoked.
Dang it.
It's all good. It's all good. They didn't hack us, so we'll call it a win. So yeah, let's start with our huge fans. But I want to make Dustin wait a little bit. Paul, what is your first experience with Monster Squad?
So this is one of those movies. I like, cause we've all had this discussion before. I don't know, can't pinpoint exactly when I saw this, but I remember seeing this as a kid. This was a VHS rental, I want to say, for me at one point. But it was one of those that would just randomly come on local TV channels, like during the day, especially during Halloween season. And it just had everything that I wanted. It had, obviously kids I could relate to. It had monsters, and it wasn't scary. At least it wasn't scary to me, but it was scary enough to where I felt like I was a big boy watching a scary movie. So I was like, this is cool. And this to me is top 5 quintessential gateway horror film, like to get people into forget the kids respect the classics, because my son immediately wanted to know more about Universal Monsters when we got done watching it. But yeah, so my first earliest memory, and then it was just a long period of time when there was no way to watch this or find it. And then they had, was it 2007 was the DVD release? 2006. Okay. So that was the next time I was able to see it, and it was all and I had the copy of it, but it was one of my many casualties over years of moving and dogs chewing stuff up, and never replace it, thinking, "Oh, I'll get this again one day," and just never did until I bought it on digital a few years ago, and now I've worn it out again. But this is one of those memories, one of those movies I talk about with people I remember this movie as a kid. Do you remember this movie? And people have no clue what I'm talking about. Sorry.
You said it one time. They say it one time in the movie. It's okay.
You got to use it.
I used it for the show. Charlie, don't be disappointed in me. It is. I
gotta go dust off the gun. Dang.
I don't edit myself with my kids. It's hard enough for me to do it with adults. But yeah, I will do better. I'll do better, Charlie. I promise.
Do better, Paul.
Do better.
Be proud of me, Dad.
But Paul, be a better person, okay?
But
yeah, so it was. I don't even know where I am. I got so flustered because I said a bad word.
As one should. You should get flustered.
You kiss your mother with that mouth.
Bad word.
I'm gonna go do 10 Holy Marys and
Five Stations of the Cross. Yeah.
But yeah, this is one of those movies where you ask people if they'd ever seen it, and they're most people never heard of it until I started meeting fellow people who loved movies the way I love movies, and you tend to find it, especially of all of our age brackets, almost everyone in our age bracket who loves film has seen that movie because what it did to form what way we looked at horror films going forward as children. But yeah, I saw it when I was little.
Story. That's
more the story. Yeah,
that's a real easy edit, Charlie. Just it's like, yeah, I saw it when I was little.
Yeah, it just get kind
of real easy edit.
But all of it I watched when I was little.
Thanks, Paul.
Really short episode.
Glad you could make it.
All right, I know Dustin's foaming at the mouth right now. He is so excited to talk about this. Dustin, what is your first memory with Monster Squad?
Well, like Paul, this was absolutely a rented movie all the time. I would, being drawn to the cover, seeing the monsters, seeing the kids, and I'm about to be blasphemous. I prefer this over the Goonies like tenfold.
That's not blasphemous. You like what you like, babe.
Yeah, I like yeah, exactly. I yuck my own yum, I guess. But growing up with this
is a kids podcast, Dustin.
I
No,
don't
I
know
think
if that was
perfectly
if
fine.
that's
It's
better or worse than what Paul
I-
said.
I prefer, like I said, I prefer this over the Goonies because of its context. And like Paul, like it disappeared. And I would talk to people like, man, do you guys remember that movie that had the kids fighting the, Wolfman and Frankenstein, and no one would know what I was talking about. And then along came 2007, 2006 with this DVD that came out. I'm like, that's the movie I've been talking about. And since being a movie collector, I've tried to own this movie all the time. And we're all collectors of sort, like the VHS, the actual VHS of this movie is, Paul, what is it? Like, it's like it goes over for like $100 by itself.
At minimum. That's usually in beat up condition, yeah.
Because it was only distributed overseas. It was never distributed over here originally.
Same with
Oh,
Laserdisc.
really?
Dude. Yeah, same with Laserdisc as well.
VHS wasn't.
No, man. What they did is they got it on syndication on HBO, and that's where I remember watching it a lot. Was on HBO, and then it came out, and then I got adult money, and I started buying Blu-rays, and then I got the 4K finally, and the 4K transfer is beautiful.
Nice.
It's awesome. But no, this growing up seeing these Universal monsters, that made me become a fan of not like the special effects that aren't CGI, because these, and then again, I've also learned who Stan Winston was because of this, and it's just, my love for it is astronomical. I could be here all night, and I don't want to be, because I know Nate wants to talk about it next. So,
is that my cue? Wow.
Oh, I don't know.
I like this. I know. I like this. He's now handing the steering wheel from the back seat back to the front. It's pretty great.
I got ejected from the car after that tumble.
Yeah, that's what the big red button's for. So, like I said, it was about 8 years ago. It was when I was living in my old apartment. I found the DVD and bought it because this would have been around the time the first season of Stranger Things came out. And I kept reading.
Ago? God, I think you're right.
Maybe 9. Whenever that first season dropped, because I remember people reading about people talking about this movie. Now, I've never heard of that, but then realized Shane Black and Fred Dekker were involved, and I was like, oh, cool. And found the DVD for like $5. I was like, awesome, great. Bought it, watched it, went, I like that. And then I have not watched it since. And then I watched it again last night, and I'm kind of not in the same ballpark as everyone else, where it's like, I like it, I don't love it. I think it's got enjoyable moments to it, but I don't think it's got enough of the Monster Squad. I don't think it's got enough of the monsters, and that really bums me out. So that is kind of where I'm at with it, where it's like it's enjoyable enough, but I'm curious to see why everyone loves it so much. And am I wrong? Am I broken? Because I feel like I'm not getting something here. Because even when the polls went live, man, did everyone go crazy for Monster Squad, like really hard. And I was like, I haven't seen this in forever. I hope it's like enjoyable, and it is. It's just not my bag of tea, I guess. I don't know. Something's off. So that's my history with the movie, is twice now. 2 times, as I get a lot of angry stares from our guest.
Not angry. Like I said, like I just said, man.
Listening, yeah.
I'm envious, to be truthfully honest. Like, you got to experience it for kind of like a first time, and
yeah, basically.
I wish I could go back and experience this for a first time.
Well, that's the thing. I don't have the nostalgia.
That's
with
also
this
the
movie.
problem.
That
He
which
didn't
is
experience it when he was
Yeah.
a child. If you want to go back and experience it for the first time, you go back in that 12-year-old Dustin or Paul or Nate.
Yeah.
And that's when you experience it,
Mm-hmm.
which
I
is one of my
don't-
concerns about not modern day people, but today. If this is a first time watch for kids, is this going to resonate like it did for us
But
when we were that age, experiencing similar things in school and technology and fashion?
now, there's a couple things here too. The original poster is phenomenal.
It's good.
Mhm.
It's so
it's a
good.
classic
Sitting on the hood of the
Hollywood-
car.
That
yes.
car is awesome.
Yeah.
The characters are great. All the Universal monsters in the background. you know who to call when you have ghosts, but who do you call when you have monsters? This sells itself so damn well.
That's how Hollywood sold movies back then, is through a poster, and you'd get a trailer in theater, but you didn't get something on YouTube back then. You had to sell it through a poster. But you'd see in the newspaper, or if you were actually in the theater, you'd see it walking by on this coming soon.
And you didn't get that poster though when this movie was being promoted. Like what they did is they did billboards of big wanted posters, and it was all of the Universal monsters. And the Mummy's wanted poster was wanted for statutory rap.
Oh God, that sounds like 1987.
Dude, like I'm being like, dude, it's yeah.
That sounds like 87.
What?
Yep.
But
like, I get why this movie flopped, because I don't think in 1987 people were ready to revisit Universal monsters, because we are talking about slashers and what 80s horror was bringing, to go that far back into the 20s and 30s and 40s.
So what year was Goonies?
I
don't know. That's the other thing.
85.
So we're not far removed from Goonies.
We're not.
And Goonies
not at all.
was a smash hit.
And I get they're going for that same
they had
crowd.
all the money to advertise.
But they don't have Steven Spielberg. That's the other
I
thing.
think it had
Monster
everything to do
Squad
with the rating. I think like the parents wouldn't drag their kids to go see this PG-13 monster,
which was
movie.
new. PG-13 was still very new.
Really new at that time.
And like Dustin said it, I'm glad he did. Like I'm not the biggest fan of the Goonies. It doesn't click for me. Like you know, like it's just one of those movies. Like I never related to any of those kids. Like so, it just never is really stuck out to me, even as a kid.
You were the dork in the groups. You were
well, maybe that's why I didn't like it.
That's my mom's favorite piece.
Right.
Oh, so funny. Oh my God. It's upside down.
Yeah, he's pissing in our faces.
Slick shoes.
So, Pete, what is your first experience? That we have Charlie go last.
Old man Pete saw this in the movie theaters. And
lucky, man.
Here's my, and my folks loved going to the theater. And so we went to go see this. Before I saw this in the theater, my dad had already introduced me to the Universal monsters, whether it was waking me up in the middle of the night to watch Dracula on Elvira or whatever horror host was playing, whatever in our area. I got to see a good amount of those, especially the big ones, Wolfman, Creature, things like that. So when I went to go see this, I was already familiar with the characters, and then you throw kids my age-ish into this theater. It just all of that just meshed really well. It was funny. It was quotable. All the kids in school were saying Wolfman's got nards. I got slimed. We came, we saw, we kicked its butt. These are all things that were said in the halls of my junior high. And yeah, it was like, now okay. I remember renting this on VHS. Now you guys just said it wasn't available on VHS. So am I having
retail?
So
retail.
And not everybody had it available to rent because it was $100 a copy for.
Oh yeah, that was normal.
Yeah,
that was normal because it was a,
and it wasn't in demand. It made no money in the box office,
so they probably only got like one or two at most.
Yeah.
5.
I know my mom pa store never carried a copy of this. You know,
okay,
neither did mine.
I do remember renting this a couple of times because it was so much fun. I was in junior high at that time, so I was a little older than some of the kids in the show, but it still harkened back to Goonies, Stand By Me, things like that, where you had kid-centric heroes, so to speak. I lost my train of thought. So it went, oh, there it goes. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I didn't watch this movie again until last year, actually, and I introduced my 8-year-old nephew to it. And he thought it was okay. which made me a little sad because this is near and dear to my heart. I think it has a lot of heartfelt, wonderful things to it, and it made me a little sad that he didn't like. Now he did like Mothra when I showed it to him. He did like that one, so we're good. But yeah, this one didn't really resonate with him. And then I watched it again yesterday, and just made me smile all over again. I dearly love this movie.
Nice. So Charlie, what is your first experience with this?
So this one I had to think back on because I kept going. I don't remember watching this as a kid. I remember watching it at a fairly young age, but I want to say I was like late teens before I actually ever saw this movie. And I remember watching it and going, it's like Goonies. But I'm going to kind of be with Nate right here and go, it doesn't strike me like it strikes a lot of people. Like with I really think there is a finite time for someone to watch this movie as far as age and for it to resonate with them. Because by the time I was in my late teens, I was watching R-rated movies. I was watching people's guts get ripped out. I was watching some of the scariest stuff I could get my hands on. And then I go back and watch a kid movie that was fun. And then we let the kids watch this a couple years ago. That, you know, the whole reason we're doing this. And let me say, this is a perfect movie to get kids into watching horror movies if they're wanting to go down that path. And they watched it and they were kind of like, okay, that was fun. And they've never asked to see it again. They never talk about it. They don't do anything about it. I hadn't watched it since then till again last night. And I'm sitting there making Jackie mad because Jackie loves this movie. And I'm sitting there poking 1,000 holes in the plot of this movie, just going, what, that doesn't make any sense. What is happening? Why? What is that? Why? And she's just like, shut up, watch the movie. Act like you're a kid. I was like, I don't think I was this stupid as a kid. Why is this happening in certain parts of this movie? Because I'm like, so Dracula falls out of an airplane unexpectedly, but it just so happens to be where he needed to land, and just so happens to be where the creature lives, that also has a museum with a 2,000-year-old mummy and the house that Van Helsing's family buried the amulet in, and a swamp.
Dracula's had 100 years to plan for this.
And Van Helsing's
much like Pete had a year to plan for February and still bombed it.
And it was awesome.
Well, and but see, also I think I like to defend that. To defend this, while we're here, I want to defend this a little bit. Okay. So he doesn't move in the airplane until he knows where he needs to be. It's dead quiet all the way up until that point, and then all of a sudden they hear him moving in the back, so he knows where he's at. He knows he's where he needs to be.
So why didn't he go pull the lever and drop? Why did he need to get the other guy involved?
Maybe he wanted to eat him. He's Dracula.
I honestly think
he's got a bloodlust.
He was caught by surprise. I feel like.
Yeah, because he didn't kill the guy. The guy.
No, he falls. He you know, and Dracula. But then, is there a werewolf epidemic in this town? Because this dude is raving mad that he's going to turn, and I'm like, dude, is this an issue that we should have known? Is this in another movie? Like,
no,
why?
I honestly think that was triggered because of Dracula's appearance at that point.
Then how did he know he was a werewolf? Because he runs into that police station going, lock me up.
Well, do you know
lock
who that
me
is?
up.
Like, did you recognize him?
One of the original.
You can throw a pigskin over that mountain.
Yeah.
Uncle Rico. Uncle Rico.
I was getting, what? No.
Yeah.
What?
But
mind blown.
I know as a kid you're supposed to not pay attention to this kind of stuff, and I get it. But I was sitting there as a 44-year-old going, and I know who wrote this, and it makes me even more mad because it's Shane Black, and I love Shane Black. We're talking Lethal Weapon. We're talking, everything I love about action movies. And then I'm like, he wrote this. It helped write because I know Fred did a lot of different things on it. Like Dracula all of a sudden has the most pimped out hearse you could ever want. It's got a
Hell
skull
yeah, he
on the
does.
front.
Yeah.
It's got,
Yeah.
He's
and
got 100
he
years
literally
planned for this.
landed
He
like
ordered this
45
on
minutes
Amazon.
earlier. Yeah, it's I'm just here. Ta-da! I don't
I
know.
literally have no complaints with any of this. Like what you're complaining about, was not what bothered me at all.
And
That's
also,
what bothered me. That literally is what's bothering me because
I'm in the mindset like, it's just a kids movie. Let them do, because it'd be like, why is Pennywise in that house? Or why did they knock that baseball into that old man's yard? Like,
also
he was next door.
There's a good chance there's a Renfield in this world, and he probably had all this stuff ready for him, ready and available.
I think Dracula could live at more than one residence.
Well, yeah, he was. Why did the Van Helsings go there with the diary? And I still don't understand how the kid got the diary other than his mom dropped it off. Blue? Because it's not. It's clear.
Charlie, you don't have a movie if all these things don't happen perfectly.
But I'm just sitting there going, I can't get over this. Like, I'm enjoying the movie, don't get me wrong, but I'm also sitting there going, I don't get this. Like, I kind of understand why it bombed. I kind of sitting there going, as an adult in the 80s, I'd have been like, what the beep, somebody already took it, is going on during this movie? Everything else I love. I love Frank, Frankenstein's monster and the little girl. Gross. I love him. I love the interaction with the little girl.
Oh, she's wonderful.
I honestly kept getting mad.
No business being that good.
I was really mad at the friends kept calling Horace the fat kid. Mm-hmm. Like that was the insult the bullies put on him, and EJ stopped it. But his best friends kept calling him fat kid, and I'm like that. It's cool if you do it once or twice as buddies poking at each other.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also like
keep going.
Did Chunk have a real name?
Yeah, no, exactly. And I made him do the truffle shuffle just so he could come in the yard.
Come inside the house.
Mouth made him do that. Mouth was
real. Well, they all call him Chunk.
Well, yeah, there's nicknames, and then there's Fat Kid.
Right.
That's
what you're saying is they needed a better nickname for him being chubby.
Yeah. Blubber or
to be fair,
Snickers. Call him Snickers. I don't know, but just
to be
I really like that.
That's product placement, and you get a joke out of it.
I
go for one.
Oh, right there, Shade Black. Call me. We need to get you on the show.
Then Snickers be like, our candy bars don't make you fat. You just have a glandular problem. That's all.
Yeah, it's glandular.
Yeah. I'm not fat. I'm big boned.
And to be fair, I think only the one kid really repetitively called him fat kid in the group.
The leader, the one that's in charge. Yeah, the leader called him like he goes, "Stop it, fat kid! Shut up, fat kid!" We're going like right before they go into the mansion to get the ambulance. He only calls him fat kid. Kick him in the nards, fat kid. I'm like his name's Horace.
But I honestly think, I think
that moment doesn't pay off if you don't do that.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yep.
But man, that's where a nickname should have been. And then because the bullies called him Fat Kid,
I agree.
At that moment, that's when he goes, "My name's Horace."
The bullies called him more than just Fat Kid.
We're not going to repeat it because we're not going to. That's a product of its time.
Yeah, that one's not. That one's only the bullies.
Look, what's his name? Was it Jason Harvey? Like that kid plays a really good.
He's from the Wonder Years. He was the brother.
He stole Pee Wee's bike.
Yeah,
right. Is he? He has only played some kind of a jackass, and
he does it really well.
One of those guys
just probably typecasted him.
He's got
a wonderful face. Person.
But I do want to be clear that I don't think this isn't a bad movie. I think it's perfect example of what we're doing this month. I think it's just I kind of understand why it rode this weird line, and it did not help it that this movie literally did disappear from existence for what feels like an eternity. It got sucked into that void.
Discovery story.
Now let me say
almost 20 years.
This movie still has one of the most outrageous opening scenes in cinema.
God, dude,
the title card is perfect.
A Hammer movie, or no, it's a Universal movie straight out. Like
they put in the little Hammer flair to it too. Like that's why all the monsters look the way they did. They wanted it to be Hammer-esque because Universal said absolutely not.
Yeah,
you cannot use our monsters.
Cannot use our likenesses.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but
So they
that
leaned Hammer.
opening is just in like it doesn't stop. Like there's demons coming up out of the ground. There's a virgin reading German. There's a vortex happening. Van Helsing comes out and shoots one of the brides with the Patriot arrow from Men in Tights. That thing is giant.
Yep.
I couldn't help but stop and laugh. I was like, that's the biggest. It's the Patriot arrow is what he shot at it.
I like the opening scroll too.
The title card's amazing.
Yeah, it's just like this really elaborate. Oh, cool! I'm really investing in a monster story, and then they blew it.
They blew it. I like I think come on, why couldn't you have gotten someone to narrate? I'm waiting for James Earl Jones to read it to me.
I did think that there was something wrong with my DVD because I was like, I could have sworn someone narrates this. But
they should have got. When did Boris Karloff pass away?
We can look it up real quick, but I can't think off the top of my head.
Like get Vincent Price to do it.
Yeah, Vincent Price would have still been alive at the time.
Yeah,
well, you're doing Universal Monsters, so that's what I'm thinking. Like Boris Karloff, or
I mean, did Edward Scissorhands. That was his last. I wouldn't say starring role, but that was his last acting.
But I mean, that's I love it.
Karloff died in the '60s.
Okay, so he died fairly early.
There you go.
But I really wanted someone reading that to me because it goes by kind of quick too. Because you're like, what does all that say? Hold on, let me back up a little bit. And then they blew it. But that whole opening segment is probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. I just love how it opens. It feels like you said, like the Hammer and Universal monster movies. And I got to give them credit for not being able to copy the Universal monsters. And you have to be careful. Your monsters can't even, be mistaken for those, for the Universals. Otherwise they can sue you. So they got that line where Dracula's just a little
I think Dracula's the exception because I want to say it was,
Public domain.
Thank you. He might be public domain.
Because he looks exactly like Christopher Lee. Almost to a T in this movie.
I think where they changed like a little bit of the hair and maybe some of the costuming, but to where the level because why wouldn't Frankenstein have been public domain? Because it's almost as old, if not older. But they actually had to put the bolts on his head instead of his neck. They had to change all that. But by far, Stan Winston's Gilman.
Gilman looks great.
Stan Winston did not design Gilman.
They did it in Stan Winston Studios, though.
Yeah,
right?
he did it in his studio, but he had nothing to do with it.
Who was that? Was John Woodruff Jr., right? Like that.
Yeah. So
basically, when I say Stan Winston, it's
you mean his studios? Yeah, gotcha.
The studios.
10-4.
Look, Stan Winston barely really did put unless it was a major
at that point.
It was by that.
He was running a business at that point.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, gotcha.
Predator was done. All that his name was out there. But when you look at Gilman, though, you're like.
That's
I
special.
It's gorgeous.
There's no better Gilman out there outside of the original.
I honestly think it beats the original.
I think it's better than the original.
It's one piece. One piece.
Yeah, I think
that's a one-piece suit. Whoa, that had to be
the fact that it made it easier for them, but the fact that its eyes don't blink because fish wouldn't have eyelids or anything like that, and it's got like that dead look. Stare to its eyes when they're, especially at the end right before he gets killed. It's just the way it looks, and it is the purest monster in this movie as far as I'm concerned. I love him to death, and as no slouch to the the Mummy and stuff.
I really love the Mummy. He's got some good gags.
The Mummy has my funniest scene in the movie. The scene I laugh. No. When the arrow gets stuck in the tree and when that tension finally hits it and that camera goes right to the Mummy's face where it's like that. And then all of the bandage starts unraveling. I am cackling. Jackie's like, okay, you are liking this movie. I said, I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said there's holes I'm poking in this thing.
I think there's some bias here with you and Nate. Like, I picked these movies in February. You guys poo-poo all over them. And I finally get to pick something that everybody universally loves. The two of you are...
I'm just as confused by this as well.
It's okay. It's a Pete pick. We
Well,
come to expect.
Well, it is a Pete pick. That is fair. That's a
Pete
fact.
pick backed by the people, so you're not
Yeah.
alone. It's not
I'm
like
saying-
everyone voted for HK in February.
Yeah.
You know, this is
Before I picked it, they would have also voted for HK.
Well, they are in the minority today on this show. There's 3-2.
and then I
Yeah.
knew we would be, and I honestly
I knew when the movie ended, I went, I might be Team Charlie on this, and that's
Yeah,
a little
That's
weird.
what you
I-
meant.
well,
didn't
because
understand that.
Because I remember Charlie had
I had
qualms.
said something that it's not my favorite movie. I understand it and I get why
like
it is
it
for a lot of people, but I had some issues with it. And I also knew I had to be super careful because this is a beloved movie and I'm not here to shit on it, and I'm not shitting on it. If it was on right now, I'd probably sit down and watch it. It's just one of those that it's like, if I had a choice, I'd probably put Goonies in instead.
And
I
Charlie's
always feel like
complaints
that.
are nowhere near mine.
Okay.
Like, not
Which
even
is
in the
the other
close
weird
radar.
part.
Yeah.
So I want to say this too, because me and Dustin, I love Monster Squad, but I adore Goonies. I would put Goonies on before I'd put this on. But
Yeah.
that's because I'm not. But
For the
like,
music alone, Goonies is better than this.
For
movie.
Corey Feldman alone.
Man, rockin' till you drop,
no,
rockin' till your heart, dude. That's a banger.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh yeah.
All right. Well,
it's time.
it's taken us this long to get
I
through
haven't
our,
seen the Goonies in so long. I'm like, I don't know what this song is.
It,
Well,
no,
that's
that's not from
song
Monster
the
Squad.
Oh,
That's
the
from
Monster
Monster
Squad.
Oh, okay.
Can you just
Well-
watch that, Nate?
It's their montage song. Yeah.
yeah, Cyndi Lauper was Goonies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, it's taken us this long to even just get through our history, barely talking about the movie. Let's hit us a horror commercial, and we'll come right back. All right.
You're watching the USA Network.
Is this thing on? Oh, hey, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Kev. We're the hosts of Sons and Shadows, a podcast of two regular guys talking about our favorite canceled TV shows and movies.
We're all about having a good time, remembering these shows, and exploding your mind.
Come over and check out Sons and Shadows on all podcatchers or directly at sonsandshadows.com.
Because we're
filthy and fine.
Welcome to Manic Movie Monday, where one person's trash is another person's treasure. Here we celebrate the trash, the treasure, and everything in between.
You know, when women get stressed, we take a bath.
There's a lot to unpack with this movie.
Spoiler alert, prison is not like reform schoolgirls, and I really wish somebody would have told me.
We're catfishing serial killers.
We're just trying on clothes without tags and seeing what fits. Everyone is wearing mail order lingerie.
So join us every other Monday and stay manic.
Just when you thought you were safe, the terror continues with another chilly tale tonight on USA Network's Saturday Nightmares.
I
Nate
had
has been
hoped.
harping on me to change those for how long now?
Oh, I already forgot.
Oh, that means I can put the old one back on, and he won't
Probably
remember
I wouldn't
that
even
footage.
notice.
Right.
Like, oh, huh, weird.
I was hoping you were going to do a commercial for creepy crawlers.
You know,
Creepy
crawlers. Well, I think I've already done one with creepy.
Oh, you
crawlers.
may
I think I did it for
You
Slow.
might have. Yeah,
Yeah,
possibly.
I honestly, we've got so many friends now with podcasts. I quit trying to find like commercials,
Okay.
to play. So I've just kind of kept it this way.
Oh, I feel like this is a part where I could complain that maybe I want some commercials back.
You always complain.
I'm
Well,
never
Hey,
happy.
Hey, Nate, you
Never.
can start editing the podcast.
I'm good. I'm busy.
So I'm curious though. Speaking of complaining, I said what my issues were. Nate, you said yours don't even line up with mine. So what is
Yeah,
yours?
take it away, Nate.
God. All right. Now that I'm on the
Weirdo.
spotlight, and I already feel like the
That's
heat.
what a podcast is. You were supposed to be
Mhm.
driving, yet somehow
Yeah, I didn't want to though, because I knew what I was getting myself into.
somehow I'm in the back seat driving now, like Andre the Giant. Just
I think
Dracula's driving. It's okay.
my biggest issue. So it's 1987. This is prime 80s at this point. The 80s have a voice when it comes to movies. I don't like the Monster Squad themselves. I don't like any of these kids. Rudy's kind of cool, kind of. But like a lot of it was just, I just don't like the kids. And then like, I love this concept. I think it's such a brilliant idea of kids fighting the universal monsters and having Wolfman and Dracula and Frankenstein all team up. I think that is all brilliant, but I don't feel like Dracula is ever like fully utilized. Like, I think it's great when they, you know, open up the hatch and he floats. I think that's a great reveal that you have a vampire on the plane. But I just don't think it all ever comes together as well as the idea. So that's my complaint with it. It's just, I think it's a really brilliant idea that just doesn't fully sell me on it.
So I will agree with the squad itself does have its fault. Yeah. It's missing a Sean Astin. It's missing, which Phoebe is really that, but there's not enough of Phoebe being involved in it.
Yeah, Phoebe is great.
Yeah, and they shit on her the entire movie. So it's kind of like
when she reveals Frankenstein.
That's what you did to a little sister. You shit on her the entire time.
I had a little sister. I was never that bad to her. I mean,
yeah, he was kind of a jerk, wasn't he?
Yeah, she saved the day. She saved the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I know it's the 80s, but I have a really hard time when they have to equate. We need a virgin, and they look at the little girl, and it's like.
There are a couple little boys there also.
Yeah. I think it had to be a girl. I think it was what it was in the book, and that's why they went for the older sister. But I was just
there was a great joke with the older sister going.
Yeah, that was
well,
great.
He doesn't count.
He doesn't count.
Steve doesn't count. So I will give it that. But there was just, and I get it. It's a product of its time, and I'm sure it didn't mean anything. But especially when I have a daughter, and I'm like, someone's looking, I'm like, it just didn't.
Yeah, it is a little weird.
I also think it's the innocence of Eugene asking. Like, if it were like a grown adult saying, "Oh, that little girl's a virgin,"
you got it very. You have a very good point, and I will accept that explanation right there.
Yeah, I think. But then Eugene called the army.
Hey, Eugene is the true unsung hero in this
creature
movie.
Stole my Twinkie.
I was saying that all day today.
Military on you, steal my Twinkie.
Which one of you is Eugene? I was like,
I love that because it's a great gag of like the way that he hand wrote that note, and the military showing up like, we heard there was monsters.
Army men.
He has assertive penmanship. I think that's
Eugene
that's what got their attention.
Eugene's the character that I understand the Little Rascals influence more than anything.
And
I was
Phoebe.
like,
and Phoebe.
Oh, and Phoebe, but I got like Eugene because he had the dog with him all the time. Because I forget what the kid's name was, but in the Little Rascals there was the little rascal that was obviously younger than all of them.
He was one of them.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
That's Buckwheat, and that's the kid you're talking about. Is the other kid?
That's with
Buckwheat. Yeah, that's with Buckwheat.
I thought it was Porky.
I can't remember.
But anyway, I feel like that's another
we
fat
got a
kid
pickle.
joke.
We got a pickle. We got a pickle. Hey.
I got $1. I got $1.
I got a nickel. I'll give you a nickel for a pickle.
I just want to bring up real quick the werewolf transformation in the phone booth.
Love it.
Oh man,
so simple.
He calls
so
that
effective.
cop, and he's like, "Hey, Dracula's after your kid," and he goes, "Oh no, you're just full of it." And when we get that pan and he's more like in mid morph, and he's like, he's gonna kill your son, dude. That is so good. On top of again, like I love, in my opinion, Duncan Ragger, the guy that plays Dracula, is my favorite interpretation of Dracula.
He's great.
I can see that.
So,
he has a more menacing.
Paul, my opinion.
I know, but we've discussed this before because I like this Dracula, but to me, he's Christopher Lee. Like he's doing a lot of what Christopher Lee does.
He's more scary than Christopher Lee is, though.
That's debatable, but
he is.
I'm gonna have to side with Paul a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm Team Paul on this one.
I don't know, baby.
When you start talking about fear, because there's one thing about this Dracula is I'm never truly scared of him, but I get it that he's powerful, that, you know, obviously he's the leader, he's controlling it.
Dude, he goes and throws dynamite at this clubhouse.
Oh, I love that.
His walk through the police at the very end to get to Phoebe.
Love it.
That's what I want.
He Steven Seagal's them, dude.
He's bored, right? He's
break arm, break neck.
Yeah,
I say,
you fall down.
Like I like I said, I like this Dracula, but this Dracula to me is mob boss Dracula. Like,
that's good. I like that.
Okay,
yeah.
I can see that. But when he picks up Phoebe and like that's true terror because he did what all thespians do. Yeah, what all thespians do, they stay away from the child actors until like it's a first impression type of thing.
Yeah,
and that's exactly like that first that when he lifts her up, that's the second take. But the first take, like the scream was so short and like she literally exhaled so much air she didn't make a sound.
She was so terrified. She was so terrified on the first take.
Yeah,
she had only seen him in like the outfit, but she was terrified of the red eyes and fangs.
Yeah.
So Drecker had told Dracula, I forget his name. He goes, "We're going to go through it. You're going to be in full makeup. She's going to be on the platform. She won't realize that stuff's on you right now." And when they raise the platform up, which is what makes it look like he's lifting her, that is literally her seeing the red eyes and fangs for the first time in her face. And it is the truest terror. That's like the Hans Gruber getting dropped off the building because the stunt guy goes, "We're going to let you go on 3," and they let him go on 2 over the airbag. So the look on Gruber's face is legit. Like, you weren't supposed to drop me yet. That's the little girl. Like, she was not expecting the demon of Dracula.
So they duplicate that. So Andy Muschietti, or how you pronounce his name, duplicates that in It Part 1. So the kids didn't see Bill Skarsgård in the makeup until the refrigerator scene. It was the first scene. It was the first scene that they filmed. And so that reaction you see is genuine. It's first take. And yeah, it's just so smart because especially with a film like that where you see them in the makeup the rest of the movie, like to get a take that you need genuine terror as a group out, that's when you want them all to see them at first.
Right.
But
nothing's better though than that clip of Bill Hader when he's out there talking to Skarsgård and he asks him about the so do they digitally do that with your eye? And then he does it to him and Bill like terror and tries to run away. There's a clip online of it, and it's he can actually do that with his eye. That wasn't CG.
He puts one eye on the camera throughout every time he's on screen, at least in part 1.
And Bill was asking him like, "How do they do that?" And he just does it, and it's like, I would have ran. I'd have pissed myself and run off. But
do you think the Mullet Crow is going to do that? Do you think Mullet Crow will have one wonky eye?
He's going to be in the sequel. I think the only thing that, as far as Dracula goes in this movie, that I feel like they missed, I do not like the mid-transformation scene of him being like half bat, half human when he's laying there like
when he gets shot.
Yeah. I'm like, this doesn't translate.
Did I see Batwing like in that scene?
I really think that was more or less just the show off.
Batwing
show off prosthetic. They stretch out the.
Yeah, like it was only because I went. Did I just see? I'm not going to rewind it, but I think there's something ingrained in my head now, and I don't like it.
But at least it wasn't the Abraham Lincoln. So
the brain or the goat.
The brain or the goat.
Oh, you mean like the Batwing?
Yeah. I really think that was more or less to show off, technique and prosthetic.
Well, I think like that prosthetic looked great. The prosthetic where Wolfman gets blown up looks great.
That was awesome.
That was a chunky scene. You talk about gore in a kids movie.
Yeah,
that's pretty gory for a kids movie.
You want to talk about a small callback because that's what that is.
It's the second way to kill.
What's the second way? You push him out a window onto a bomb. Stuff like that. That's what happens.
But it doesn't kill him, so there's only one way to kill him.
There's only one way,
to kill a werewolf. And poor kids making bullets in shop class. Shop class in the 80s, where you could bring a gun and ammunition to school and no one batted an eye.
Create stakes.
Sanding them stakes down, man. I gotta,
why did I ever make steaks? And did you make steaks in wood shop today, Charlie? The garage is just the wood shop. So
I mean, there's swords. There's
but that's not a steak.
I don't. don't think I need steaks. I mean, I have.
Oh, that's from a guy who's going to get killed by a vampire. You just let all our vampire listeners know.
I mean, I'll just John Wick them with the pile of sharpened pencils I have ready to go. They're like mini steaks.
Just put a steak on top of one of your axes like Buffy does.
Yeah, see?
And you'll be fine.
I'll just get a shotgun like Blade, it's totally fine. I got this handled. It's not a problem.
I just want to touch a little bit how you were, Nate, you were talking about how you didn't relate to any of these kids and how none of them really appealed to you. I seen a little me when Sean was like talking to his dad about going to the drive-in to watch, Creature whatever part 9. And he goes, "Oh, is that
Groundhog Day 12?"
Yeah, he's like, yeah. Is that the one where they chopped him up and put it in the blender? He goes, "That was part 7."
No.
Yeah.
Dude, that is 100% me.
Yeah.
So
no, I love that you get that from it.
Yeah.
And there's some heavy stuff in here. Like you're dealing with the parents
to
marriage counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I get that they're trying to show that, the kid's going through it and maybe he's acting out a little bit. They don't, the principal at the beginning is just flipping weird as it all gets,
spider with human head.
Yeah. I don't know if I see
not a
that.
Good spider with human head. It's
You know what I like?
I can draw
science. Science is rad.
Science is rad.
I want to know where you get a Stephen King rules shirt in the 80s.
In the 80s, he had to make that himself.
Definitely.
I know where you can get a shirt that looks very similar to it that may or may not have the Flicks and Friends podcast name on it.
I may or may not.
Really?
Does it say Flicks and Friends rules?
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Called it.
We all need to make sure that in our montage of getting ready for the monsters, Nate's in charge of getting our business cards ready.
I'm cool with that. You're the one that didn't bring the steak, so you're a dead man.
That's it.
Yeah.
I could bring them. I can make them in a few minutes, Nate.
Beer. You're just gonna bring beer, and
okay,
it's not gonna do us any good, but we're gonna have a good time.
And panties.
Yeah, and panties. Used panties.
Just gotta be used.
God.
Give it Charlie PTSD.
I don't like this at all.
Well, what about you, Pete? Like, is there any of the characters that you have related to or latched onto over these years? With
this is the best creature. I love the Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's been one of my favorite Universal monsters since I was a very little kid. It's sad. It's sad that they haven't explored this creature more.
Agreed.
It really hurts. Now, Shape of Water. Oh
yeah,
chef's kiss. What a fantastic.
So the guy that dressed up. Wore the mummy costume, isn't it right, Dustin? He wore the mummy costume. It went on to do
the prosthetics, the special effects.
He created the amphibious man.
Really?
Yeah.
And if I'm right, I think the guy in the Gillman costume was one of the special effects guys working for Stan Winston and begged just for the shot to play. And because I think something happened, he knew someone else, and they just started making the suit based off his life cast. So it was like, he has to do it now anyway, because that suit's not going to fit anyone else. You ain't getting Arnold in that, Gillman outfit. It would have worked perfectly. Gillman stole my Twinkie.
Put my wife's Twinkie down.
on top of my love for the Gillman, I cannot be more angry with the way he was dispatched. Shotgun to the chest.
But also, I was like,
when I saw
is he really immortal?
He's just a creature. So
fish out of water.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a wolf. He's a dog. He's a hawk. He's a living, breathing creature. He doesn't have any.
What are the rules with the creature?
There are no rules
because he lifts Frank up out of the water.
Yeah,
he's lifting that, so he's strong. But I don't think he's
crushed one of those cops' heads.
Yeah, you could be strong, but not be bulletproof.
But he's not bulletproof.
Yeah.
And
that was a shotgun, point blank range, though. It
made me mad.
Had enough.
So, but you gotta kill him some way, I guess. But that was such a beautiful costume. I love the werewolves costuming looked a lot like Oliver Reed's in the only Hammer werewolf movie.
Yeah. Well, he had to wear pants
of the werewolf. I think
can't have a Wolfman
Oliver
dork
Reed's
running around out
one and only. Well, Oliver Reed, a famous drunk, and he was trouble on the set of that movie. Let's talk about that movie another time.
Those are machine guns, because that's really what's
there
missing
are no
with
machine
this one.
guns in
It's
this.
funny. The Wolfman's face is the only thing I don't really like about him.
Right,
Because they couldn't emulate the Universal Pictures one because
couldn't.
it's very wolf-like, so they had to go more.
He has a
human
very
features.
bat-like.
He's got a flat face, and that is one of my problems with that. I would prefer like a wolfy snout, but that's a lot. That flat face is very much what Hammer used to do. Werewolf of London was Werewolf of London a really flat face too? That was before.
He had a wolf snout. Yeah,
he had the
Werewolf of London had a full wolf snout.
Yeah.
Like 1930.
That was one of the things that you saw.
Rick Baker won, like that was like the first award he won, right?
No,
Like,
no, not American Werewolf in London. Werewolf of London, 1930.
Warren Zevon
1931.
I don't understand.
It was before.
Well, again, if you're talking about flat faces,
Wolfman.
Wolfman had.
Wolfman had a smaller
Lon
face.
Chaney
but
had
it
a
was
flat face.
Flat face, but it was very human face. Where this was a flat dog face. But I thought that Werewolf of London also had sort of that flat dog face, but I can't quite remember. Someone's going to yell at me.
There
for this.
was to go back a little bit on the American Werewolf in London.
Not American. I'm not saying
Stop
American
it! I'm not talking about that. Give me a second to finish my thought.
Yeah, Pete's like, someone's going to yell at me for a 1935 movie that only I have heard of.
I was
We're talking
saying,
about
though,
Universal Monsters.
on
God
your
darn it.
point, though, Pete, is in American Werewolf in London, I have the figure. The Nazi ones have flat faces as well in that movie. You're welcome, Pete, before you jump down my throat.
So the 1935 one is just a human face, basically. Yeah. So, so that is one of the designs I'm not huge on, is the werewolf facial design. They couldn't decide whether, we're not flat faced, but we're not going to give it a full snout. We're going to do something in the middle,
So that leads me to a question I have: is do you think that's part of why this movie flopped? That people went and saw it and went, "These don't even look like the Universal monsters."
So
that one monster does not make all of the monsters, though. I'm saying is because this movie flopped. But do you think there was some people that went in there that loved the Universal monster movies and watched it and went, "Well, this is shit." They're not even
just
close.
a case of ahead of its time.
Didn't-
If this would have been made
Didn't
now,
Lost Boys come out a few weeks before this one landed?
Two weekends, three
Yeah.
weekends before.
That's tough to.
that also
and that's
doesn't
the
help.
same target audience.
I
It's the
also-
same target audience.
Yeah.
They also make a point on the Wolfman's Got Nards that if this movie was shelved for about a year, it would have had a tagline of "from the writer of Lethal Weapon" on it. And that would have helped it a lot more
Big
than
time.
anything. So I have zero problems with how the Wolfman looks because I like that he is his own character at that point, because not all Wolfmen look the same.
Oh,
That's
no.
what I really dig, and I really like the Hammer look of him. Like he still looks like a beast, he's monstrous.
All the Paul Nashy stuff.
Yeah.
Versus the Oliver Reed versus the Lon Chaney
Pete, we're
stuff.
not specious. We don't think they all look the same. That's just it's just
Are
wrong,
you
Pete.
are you calling me a monster racist?
racist.
Is that what you called me?
As in,
You're a racist.
Now, when we
We're
say
racist,
now when we say monster racist, do we mean large racist or
if
racist
the-
of monsters?
If the harness fits, Pete.
Do you think this movie exists within the Goonies universe though? Because
That would be awesome.
what's her name? Is it Mary Ellen Trainor?
The same
Mary
mom.
Ellen
Yeah.
Trainor?
she's the
It's
mom.
She's the mom in both.
They lost the house by the lighthouse, and I'm so sorry.
That's her. That's her.
Dude, I've
twin
gone like an hour
sister.
15. I've done real good.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
They lost the house by the lighthouse, and she ended up divorcing the dad and starting this other family.
Yeah,
and
she's
then-
a
Kind of a bleak
psychiatrist.
ending.
Yeah.
She's a psychiatrist for the police department too, because that's her role in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, I have zero problem. I really like that they didn't decide to make the mummy kind of hulking, like they made him decrepit.
Oh, I love the mummy's look.
Yeah, I think
Like,
mummy
good.
is dead on. No pun
Yeah.
intended, but yeah.
I see what you did
But
there.
it's
But
No,
all the
I
monsters,
like it.
like all in all, the monsters to me, I still see the monsters. Like I get the reference, but I also understand they're their own individual characters, and
Right.
I appreciate that a lot more. And Gilman is probably top 5 movie monsters of all time.
all time.
I think he's up there. I
he's
really
gotta
think he's
be
up
There's
there.
up there,
practical
man.
It's
effects.
beautiful.
So good.
And I'm like Pete. Creature is my favorite Universal monster. So honestly, this one looks better. It looks better. It's just
It does.
I think the fact that it's one solid cast piece, so there's not these zippers and individual pieces that you can pick apart and look at. It looks like a freaking Gilman.
It looks like a creature stole my Twinkie. That's exactly what it looks like.
Exactly.
You know?
I feel like he's the unproportions like of his head and his hands and his feet, opposed to the creature he looks like a human wearing a mask.
Yeah, because especially where the neck is.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
like it's very animalistic, which I really dig.
Yeah, it looks like a true creature that could exist. But I also I don't want to. I mean, we love all these other ones, but man, we cannot shadow Tom Noonan as Frankenstein's monster.
He was wonderful.
Absolutely.
What a hulking creature! That shot when he first meets Phoebe. I mean, ripped.
Oh,
clearly,
it's right straight from the original movie. You're waiting for her to be wading out in the water because she's doing the daisies with the flowers, just like the original movie.
Going, oh gosh, no! Don't kill the girl. And
I honestly think Frankenstein was my first monster movie I ever watched.
Probably, yeah.
Pete, you're gonna love this.
I love it. I already do.
We rented it from the library when we could rent VHSs. And it was the black and white.
Yep.
God,
it's only black and white.
But I mean, is it even an hour long? I don't.
It's like 48 minutes long.
Yeah, it's not quite. It's not quite an hour long. But man, I have vivid memories of and that I remember as a kid getting that tension in my chest during that scene with
such a striking movie.
It's very much is, and the way they play it in this one. But then Noonan is able to actually bring some humanity into this character without they make him say bogus and stuff. That's fine. I honestly I love all of that.
It's the 80s.
But exactly, but
I
love that
in this 80s movie, right?
that he's like the redemption type character in here. He turns on Dracula. He's one of the kids. Yeah, oh yeah, it's in Star Wars all over again with Vader picking up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great.
His reaction to that, and it just pans behind him.
Dead to rights.
Frank just behind. Oh my god,
you guys are dead to rights, and he's about to tear this
Mess
little
you
girl's
up,
neck apart, and then something grabs him from behind and stops Dracula.
And it has to be it's powerful because Dracula's strong.
Dracula, just double bird his way through an army, like whatever, just Seagal himself.
That image in my brain just popped in, and now all of us are flipping double birds everywhere.
But I see what you're saying though with when he brings the humanity, because you see that once he picks up the mask of himself.
Yes,
that's
heartbreaking. That's a heartbreaking scene.
Oh my god!
By those kids. To piggyback on Nate, these kids are kind of jerks.
They are.
They're shitheads.
Except Eugene. Eugene's not a jerk. And the other kid.
Who's the famous masked man? Bob. Please continue. Move on.
Michael Myers.
No, I think you're talking about who made those
masks.
style masks.
Clark.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Bob Davis.
But no, when he picks up that mask and they're like, yeah, that's you, and he's like, it's hideous, it's ugly, that's where you start seeing Frank's
you just hurt a hulking creature's feelings, you dummy.
He's also the other one that makes us feel like it's wrong to take pictures of the girl next door, because when that camera goes off, he's like, bogus. Even he knew that was wrong.
Even Frank knew that was wrong.
Oh my, you wouldn't happen to live next door, would you? Yeah. So what?
That's my sister. What? Why are they all trying to get the picture though? That's my question. Because even he's trying to get. It was his sister. He's one of the kids jumping up and down trying to grab the picture out of his hands. See, there's some weird things.
But that's an 80s thing too, because like in it's not Night of the Night of the Demons. That's the one with the Night of the Demons. Jeez. Right when they go to the not the
lipstick scene.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like the brother pops out of the closet. He goes, "Nice boobs, sis." And like runs out of the room.
Yeah, but he was a degenerate though already.
But I'm saying that's almost like a trope that they tried to do. You know, like
I guess there's other ones that did it, and they're always looking through the telescope at the girl next door.
Yeah,
I get it. It was just I always laugh that when Frank does it, he gets bogus. And,
Frank holds it up here and like gets a good look.
He
is
looking at it through the sunglasses.
And no one else can get to it.
Pete, were you trying to think of Jack Pierce?
Is it Jack Pierce? God,
yeah. So Jack Pierce created a lot of that. I was like, I think he was he did the Creature. He did. I know he did Frankenstein.
You're talking
about the Halloween mask.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not sure.
Halloween masks in a cardboard box with a
They were the blown plastic is what it was called.
I thought it was Bob Clark or something. This is the cheap stuff you buy.
Clark.
That's not right. That's not
Dick
right.
Clark. I think it was Dick Clark. I think Dick Clark created it.
Yeah, Final Frontier 9.
Rockin' New Year's. Is that what we're doing?
Chris Sandler?
Yeah, no, it was made by Dick Rodriguez. Come on now.
Beer.
I like when we make fun of Pete for having the brain scramblies because then he just gets more brain scramblies.
But yeah, back to the whole Frankenstein of it all. Frankenstein and Phoebe's relationship is the heart of this movie.
Oh, it's perfect.
And I could literally watch an hour and a half of them being the main characters of a film. And honestly, they should have been more front and center instead of these a-hole dudes that were kind of.
I feel like if they remade the movie today, like that's what we'd get.
Even the actor who played the main character said if they remade this film today, Phoebe would be the main character.
Yeah,
what a brilliant idea!
It's the character I want to follow. You know?
So she was prevalent in Wolfman's Got Nards.
Yes,
and is that where? So I just got a beer.
Pete,
so
it's
I
Ben
might
Cooper.
be a little behind.
Ben Cooper was the creator of the masks.
Samsonite.
Ben Clark.
Ben Cooper.
Ben Cooper is Bob Clark. Ben Cooper.
You had the initials right.
There you go.
Sandler. Chris Sandler. Heard that.
He said Samsonite. It's right here on the briefcase.
Ben Cooper is right.
We were way off.
I suck at this podcasting thing. I love you guys, Dustin, Paul, you saw Wolfman Got Nards. Phoebe, just her enthusiasm through the whole documentary just made my heart sing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no idea what she's done since this film, but a movie centric around her would be just delightful.
Or that character in general. If
right.
she could come back as the mom, it'd be cool.
Right.
That's the other thing. Like, you could do a reboot sequel of sorts where it's just
easily
have the kids all grown up and then the next wave of monsters attack.
I was going to say something. Now I'm getting the brain scramblies. I need to get a beer.
I did.
But I was going to say something about the whole Phoebe of it all. Anybody else? Y'all carry on. I'll come back.
Well, I was going to say, I was looking up some. Looks like Phoebe's done some like bit parts in sitcoms. She has done. She's actually supposed. I don't know why it says 5 minutes, but something called All Jumbled Up in 2023. Mrs. Jones. But I was going to say, you guys have kind of led right into Pete's impromptu homework.
Yes,
that he wants to know.
I'm not sure we've had more last minute homework than this last minute.
That was pretty last minute.
That was the definition of last minute.
4 minutes
as I'm
to
sending
go
the
we
invites. Yeah. So Pete, you want to tell everybody what the homework is?
I was pooping the dogs and thought, hey, how cool. Hey, how cool would it be to have a sequel of this movie? Wait, but what monsters would they do? Because these monsters have all been banished to the Phantom Zone or something, right?
Well,
they're in the
all
void.
Killed, yeah, just about.
They haven't been killed. Van Helsing was still alive and giving people thumbs up.
Yeah, I feel like no matter what,
Gilman's dead, Mummy's dead.
They've been tossed in an alternate dimension. So
Frank and Dracula are the only ones who survived, right?
If Decker would ever make a sequel, what are your monsters that you would like to see in this movie? In the sequel,
Are we each picking one so we have a team of 5 like the movie?
But I've got 2. But
no.
Mine's a package deal though.
Well, let's go with Nate and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like Dustin's idea, but mine is a package deal.
Mm-hmm.
You get Mike and Sully.
From Monsters
Inc. Okay. All right.
Put the thing back where you got it before, so help me.
We are still keeping it kid friendly, so we can't get Freddy and Jason in these things. So okay.
No, but you can get Mike and Sully.
All right. Yeah, Mike and Sully. All right. Okay. Now I'm thrown off. That's not what I was expecting. Now I know Dustin at the beginning. Dustin, you have dreamed of this. You know exactly what you want. So how are you going to do 5 or is it 1, 2, 3, 4?
No. I'll name 2 and you guys pick the better one. How about that?
All right.
Okay.
All right. So my favorite Universal monster is one that is hardly ever looked upon because you can never see him. And that is the Invisible Man.
Oh, sure. Yep.
And I think that would be awesome to have that aspect.
I like that.
Or Old Ancestor.
Well, Old Ancestor's the winner. Clearly, I would love to see Old Ancestor come back.
I also had Mama Fratelli written down, but
I think Mama Fratelli is in the Universal Monster universe.
I'm gonna go with the Invisible Man because I just like the idea of you. Who knows? Who knows if he's there or not? You know, that's terrifying. So, Invisible Man.
All right. Hey, Paul, what do you think, bud?
So I had 2 in my head. One of them was the Invisible Man. So I think I stayed more true to what the teacher assigned than some people. But
did I not?
No. I was talking about somebody who showed up. So I don't know where he is in the box because I'm over to the side. So I'm just going to say over here somewhere. But I like the original Phantom, the Phantom of the Opera. I love the disfigured design. I think he could play the heart role of this movie because of he just wants to belong. I was thinking either him or a Quasimodo type character. One of those two would be, I think, if you're not going to bring Frank back, you need that type of character. And I think either one of those could fit that role.
I like both of these ideas a lot already.
What do you think, Charlie? Do you have?
I do, and I'm glad Paul went back to what the core of what I thought we were doing here, because I've always had one in my mind because this was one of the other like kid friendly books I used to get out of the library when I was in school that was based off of like the classic monster movies and stuff. They're really easy to read. I was going with the Mole People. At least 1 or 2 of the Mole People.
Oh, they could be your creature.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that could be your.
And you can even play with it. Yeah, like there's multiple of them. So everybody else picked multiples.
Oh, great!
I get a civilization of Mole People because that whole process. I love something. It's something about the Mole People idea.
I just picture the Mole Man from The Simpsons.
It's not Mole Man from these guys
Underminer.
The Underminer. No, these guys are actually kind of freaky looking, especially for a black and white movie.
The Mole People is John Agar's in it. Nate, if you know who that is, Alfred from Batman '66. He's one of the high priests in this one. In the Mole People,
Alan Napier.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. I
don't recognize this one at all.
Take into context when it came out in the early 50s, I think, and the Mole People is I know it's been lampooned.
Looks like a blast.
Yeah, it's like a civilization of them. It's not like just one creature. There's a bunch of them.
there's like a high civilization. There's high elves and low elves. So there's like
right, and these are like the lower
there's
tier of it.
White people,
It's
and
one of
there's
those
mole people.
like we're talking about how underrated like the creature is and stuff. It's like no
mole
one
people
does the mole people. Like, why has that not been optioned?
He would be a perfect creature replacement. They would.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
That's
It looks
exactly what I was
amazing.
thinking.
I've never seen this. I need to see
henchmen of
this.
some sort. Yeah. Oh no.
I
Mole People's great.
absolutely recommend it.
Well
'cause
done, Charlie.
I would check this book out constantly and just read it and read it and read it. That and the spider one from about that same era that was
with
in
the
those
bugs,
books.
like Tarantula and them.
Yeah, I think it was Tarantula. Was
Earth versus a Spider, and
they had like I think we had like 5 or 6 of the books.
you
So
still
I
have
was just
these?
I know this was at the library.
Oh,
I
so
wish
sad. Yep.
I could have got a hold of
I
them,
had
but
I had Godzilla at my local library, and that's like a $300.
oh, easily. I mean, I bet if I looked them up, an original one of these is probably $100 easy.
Most of them aren't so bad, but that Godzilla one.
He's the one that took off, you know. It's like, nobody's making the Mole Man verse. We're getting the monster verse with Godzilla.
Mad scientists, and yeah.
All right, Pete. Well, this is your homework. Who are you
Yeah.
picking?
So we need a leader for this team of Sullys and Mole Peoples. I don't know about the Sully thing, dude.
Sully fits, all right.
I don't know about that. I'm going super obscure. I'm going Vincent Price and Dr. Phibes. The Dr. Phibe is there's at least 2 movies. It might be 3, but I think it's 2 for sure. Where he's a mad scientist torturing people, and I will eat my hat if Saw didn't take some of these torture devices out of this movie.
The Abominable Dr. Phibes.
The Abominable Dr.
Phibes. Phibes rises again. Dr. Phibes and the Gentleman. Wait,
So
Dr.
there's
Phibes and the Gentleman is 2013. What is that?
That's not Vincent Price.
Oh, that's totally.
You don't think so?
That could be the corpse of Vincent
Pretty
Price.
sure
You don't. Hold on, Pete. Hold on, Pete.
Yeah, like
Hold
if there's
on.
one thing.
Hold on. So we're 100% positive that a film that came out in 2013
Pretty
did not
sure.
star Vincent Price.
I feel like it could have.
Let me check my math here. Hang on.
Let me Wikipedia that real quick.
There's one person
my
that
math
could
is
make a
dodgy.
movie in
I don't
depth.
know. But Dr. Phibes, if you haven't seen these movies, they're kind of funny because Vincent Price is hamming it up. But I think he's a grand leader that would take over for Dracula. He would have a scheme to bring all these monsters together and to a common goal, whatever it is, to steal the Shankara stones or to kill the Virgin or whatever it might be. Hopefully not kill the Virgin because it's a kids movie. So they're stealing Shankara stones or something. I don't know.
They killed the Virgin at the beginning of this movie.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
No.
killed
She
a
goes
lot
into
of
the
people
Phantom
in this
Zone.
movie.
She goes. So if there's if
Yeah, but
everyone
she
else
didn't
is-
pop back out. I think she got hit in the head by a brick. Or a Buick from whenever they did it the rest of the way.
She was
Or-
wrestling one of those
Or
skeletons.
Dr. Phibes is trying to open up the Phantom Zone and draw
I'm
the other
I'm
monsters
reading
out.
to get Dracula back out.
Yeah,
I'm reading a
Dracula is-
plot summary and it says doctors are being murdered in bizarre manners. Bats, bees, a killer frog mask, which represent the 9 biblical plagues of Egypt. The crimes are orchestrated by an organ-playing, demented madman from his home base, replete with a clockwork orchestra and help from a beautiful mute assistant.
This sounds like a Pete
This
movie.
this is like everything. They took everything, shook it up, and put it on Vincent Price.
Yes.
I'd watch it. I'd watch
Can I pick the scary German guy?
You want to pick? We need a new scary German guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
please.
someone
yes,
someone
yes,
who
please.
gives them exposition.
There's one
somebody
answer
who-
for this.
He had to be scary. He had to be a scary Russian guy. Now,
I was
right?
gonna-
No, I think
Still
they would
needs to be
get someone who doesn't. I don't want to go with German though. I want to go with Jekyll and Hyde.
No. There's only one person that can play our German.
One
I know
person. Yeah.
Nate knows who exactly we're
Yeah.
talking about right here. We are talking about the one, the only Christoph Waltz.
Yeah,
It's
that's the obvious answer.
Our German that comes to help us. Come
Whatever
on.
you were gonna say, Dustin's wrong because Charlie and I picked the right one.
Because we might be wrong about this movie in particular, but we are not wrong about Christoph Waltz, sir.
Is Christoph Waltz going to be the good guy though? Is he going to be?
He's the one that
German to help
He's
them.
I don't want to be that guy.
I dig
but
that. I dig
Christoph
that a
Waltz
lot.
is Austrian.
Yeah, but he plays a hell of a German.
They speak German. They speak German.
What I'm saying is, you can find out that he is like a descendant of the Van Helsing. So
that'd be cool.
That whole tie-in.
I was really surprised that our German old fella wasn't a descendant of Van Helsing.
Yeah, he was Jewish German, and they
He was.
really hit you over the head with that, don't they, in a kids movie?
If you aren't paying attention, whack. There it is.
It is. I will say, is probably one of my favorite lines in the movie. It is
chance for pie.
It's that's a good line too. But where he goes, where the kids go, man, you know a lot about monsters, and he goes, I guess I do. And as he closes the door, you see the tattoo, and I'm like, boy, that went over so many kids' heads. But as an adult, you're watching this going, that's a heavy line.
Well, they have menorahs in the background too, so you know he's a.
He's Jew.
But it's not in your face until that moment.
Yeah.
Once you've watched this multiple times, you're like, I get it. But that time it clicks with you that you're like, he does know something. He knows worse monsters than Dracula, let's be honest. But it is a really heavy moment.
Dracula wants to kill everybody. Nazis want to kill
he doesn't discriminate.
No,
that's for
he's just
you.
like, kill
That's for
everybody.
you. We don't care.
Where's Indiana Jones to punch these Nazis?
Punch these Nazi vampires.
It
Hey,
stops
thanks,
at Last
guys.
Crusade.
I think that was a very successful homework.
That was successful
a whole
homework.
lot of fun.
All right. Well, I think it's time
And
we jump
then
into the thing.
We can all go watch Dr. Fives. I'm telling you.
I might actually watch this
a
after I
wackadoo
watch
film.
Mole Man. I want to watch the Mole
Oh, Mole Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
I'm telling you, Mole Man's great.
Well, it's time to do things, boys. So let's do some Rain and Blood.
We're talking about my movies, like the weird stuff that I love.
Yeah, something you could have played in February.
Yeah, I know. He's
I
always like,
gotta go
nope, I don't want to pick things I love in
super weird.
February.
I
I don't
wanna
know,
go
but now you
super
guys
weird.
got future cops to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm still mad he didn't pick that.
I don't think I can do that because these guys already know about future.
I haven't seen it though.
Yeah, we haven't seen it.
It's good.
Right.
No, it's
All
not.
right.
It's terrible.
Our Raining Blood for a kids movie in the 80s. 28 people die in this movie.
Wow.
It's a lot.
It's between Dracula and the creature in the last stand there. They're just mowing down cops.
And there are
I
people
don't know
that
how
die
big
at the
this
beginning.
city is, but
There's
I can't
people that
believe-
die at the beginning too. So I mean, there's
that's
still
right,
people
that's
you
right.
add, even if you don't count the vortex, potentially
up,
killing
yeah,
or not killing them. But yeah, there's quite a body count. The partner gets exploded in the cop car by Dracula.
As
just
shocking as it was when Batman stuck a stick of dynamite down a clown.
Oh yeah, and
Batman
Returns.
And we all went, Batman killed somebody.
Batman killed that dude
Straight up murdered him.
Although I gotta say though, I am totally fine that he killed that guy because that partner is the absolute most annoying character
terrible.
in this movie.
Terrible.
I can't there's no one can oh no, he's he's not charming.
No.
He's not quaint. He was annoying and I hated him and he needed to go. All right. Well, out of 28, and I think for kill of the week, you can pick monsters, you can pick whatever, you can pick what your favorite kill is.
What do you think? Zombie kill of the week?
All right. Do we start with our guess or make them wait?
Guess. Make
Since
them
Pete
wait.
doesn't want to go first.
Yeah.
Nate goes first.
Okay. Nate goes first.
I wasn't prepared.
I know. I was
yeah.
prepared to start this podcast, you jerk.
I'm like trying to think.
Oh,
of
how the
best.
tides have
I'm
turned.
just gonna- I'm gonna pick the wolf man. I mean, he dies twice, so you get a double tap.
Three times.
So-
Three times.
3 times. Yeah, you're right. So that's mine. That's the one I'm going with.
All right. Paul.
Yeah, so Mine is Wolfman's death number 2. The whole coming of fruition of how's the second way to kill a Wolfman. It just pays off a joke, pays off a line, and it's a pretty rad, quote unquote, death. But yeah, so yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, fair. Dustin.
I'm gonna have to go with The Partner, man, because that's the first time the adults realize the danger they're in. Because he throws that stick of dynamite at the car, and that car just the partner has 0 time to get out, and he got got.
He got hard.
He got got.
Yeah,
he got hard. Pete.
I'm gonna go with a killer, not a killee, or killed. Rudy, as a 12, 13-year-old boy, murders a bride of Frankenstein, and then
Dracula.
Oh yeah, Dracula.
Pete's gonna Pete.
He killed 2 monsters. What the hell? What did he? Okay, I'm gonna go. Werewolf number 2 was the best.
I'm not editing any of that. All stays.
No, Rudy killed. He killed a bride of Dracula, and then he murdered somebody else.
He killed the mummy too.
The mummy. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, he got 2.
He kills
young
2
man.
brides of Dracula.
Okay, yeah. He's got
the 3rd one. We never know what happened to.
He's
Where'd she go?
slaughtering people left and right as a 12-year-old boy, and whoa, yeah, you might want to put this guy on a list. Don't put me on a list for HK.
He smokes cigarettes, Pete.
He's
already on
he's
the list.
cool.
Yeah. He rides a bike.
He's a loner.
He's also a voyeur.
He makes bullies eat Snickers off the ground.
No, he's not a voyeur.
Yeah.
He's a voyeur.
Yeah,
no,
man.
wait, he's a voyeur. Yeah,
The
you're right.
voyeur watches. The voyee is the one.
Maybe he's
Pete,
both.
I don't know. What? Now we're definitely on a list.
Dang it!
We were this close.
Charlie, you ready? We're this close.
I'm siding with Dustin, man. It's when the partner gets blown up in the car because Dracula's packing dynamite. He blows up a hole in the house. He carries dynamite with him where he needs, and he just into the treehouse. Boom!
Meeting adjourned.
And then he tosses it under the car. So I was like, there's Shane Black. There's the Shane Black I love. There he is finally. But yeah, no, I'm giving it to him. Although I will say the coldest kill is the guy that gets his neck broke by Dracula as Dracula's just walking along and he's just it keeps going.
It's like that Suicide Squad scene where they're just going through that village and just
who can do the best kill,
but they're just staring at each other the whole time, not paying attention to their kills.
I just 100% see Steven Seagal just doing.
I really need everyone to stop saying his name. I just really need this to stop.
He's got PTSD.
But before we finish, too, I do want to give a shout out, RIP, to the actor who played Horace. So sad story, dude.
When I heard that on the
what happened?
So he had asthma trouble with
comedy
breathing.
Of errors in the hospital.
And he was in the hospital, and he had an adverse effect to some medication, and while he was there, and it's just one of those things that shows you like this movie was disappeared for so long that no one had any clue that he had passed away, and all this happened before the re-release and all that stuff. So
it's heartbreaking, and it was so. I didn't want to feel the feels when I was watching this documentary, and
it gets you, dude. It gets you.
I turned around and felt the felts, and
they talk about it in the DVD you have, Nate. Like there's a documentary on that DVD that's really good.
Oh, really?
They talk about him in that, yeah.
Yeah, highly recommend Wolfman Got Nards to you guys. So it's just a really well done. Yeah,
I also want to shout out, Horace for thinking about the garlic that's on his cheese pizza that's in his pocket. And who doesn't have pocket pizza?
Gotta have
it's
that.
Been a while since I've had pocket pizza, but
The sign doesn't say all you can eat here.
Right.
We're doing 7 degrees of separation. So Horace had pocket pizza, right? And Napoleon had pocket tots. And Uncle Rico is in Napoleon, and he's also in this movie.
It blows my mind. That's Uncle Rico.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, boys, let's rate this bad boy.
Please.
Guys, it's okay. He just wanted his machete back. Whew.
All right. I've made Dustin wait a long time, so I'm going to actually let him start this off. Dustin,
yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10 machetes, you can do halves. What are you giving the Monster Squad?
Who's going to give it a half?
I mean,
yeah.
You can do like 9.5.
So this is one of, I think, like 5 movies on my Letterboxd that has a 5-star rating. I will never not recommend this movie. So this movie absolutely is 10 machetes.
Nice.
Nice. Very nice. All right.
Yeah.
Done.
It's been my top 3 favorite movies of all time.
He's still going. That's how excited he is.
I'm done.
He's allowed. Let the man go. Let him cook.
I've been waiting for him to have all his Monster Squad DVDs on like a necklace, and he wears it like Mr.
Oh, you totally need.
Because when he thinks no one's paying attention, he just holds them up for everybody to see. He's like, "Yeah, check out my."
He
boy.
said, "These are my babies."
All right, now
Do you watch all 3 at the same time?
Ooh, there you go. That's it. He's trying to find all the inaccuracies. Paul, what about you, brother?
So I do give out my 5 stars a little more willy-nilly on Letterboxd, but it's because the scale is smaller. So, but if I were going all the way to 10, means I could be a little more precise. I probably this is a 9 machetes for me. It does have some flaws, but this movie gives me all kind of great nostalgic feels, and it's a ton of fun. This is more of a seasonal movie for me. I need to watch it around Halloween usually. The other 11 months of the year, I'll watch Goonies. But this movie is a classic, and dude, I love this movie. I love that my kids love this movie. But yeah, 9 machetes.
I love Dustin shaking his head at the Halloween comment, and he goes, "Easter's just around the corner. I
Yeah.
can't wait to watch Monster Squad for Easter."
All I'm saying is you twisted my arm to rewatch this movie.
Critters 2 is for Easter.
Yeah,
Critters 2. There you go.
there you go. Let's see, Pete. What are you rating Monster Squad?
This is a wonderful movie. 9 machetes. 9 machetes. I'm done. That's it.
Okay. Fair.
I don't need to justify this. 9.
This is no justification is required.
9.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Wait.
No.
That mean-
The number 9.
Number
Does that
9.
mean Pete is the scary German guy?
Yes, Pete's also the scary German guy.
Bitches.
Would you like some pie? I have had your wife's pie.
Dude,
It's
like my
delicious.
pie.
Whoa. This is a kids podcast.
His wife's pie, though.
We're
me
talking
tell you,
about pie. That's
Nate
what we're talking
and Charlie
about.
have sampled my wife's pie in
It
my
was
kitchen.
delicious.
in
Twice.
My wife watched me eat his wife's pie.
It was great.
True.
All right.
I was there. I
I
was a
don't know what to do
voyeur.
with my hands.
a pie voyeur.
Well, I did, and it was eat pie with them. So, Nate, come on, bud. It's down to me and you.
Man, I don't like this. Why do we do it this way?
I don't know, but I'm making you go first because you refuse to drive. So,
Save the worst for last.
I pass out a ton of 5-star reviews on Letterboxd. I'm like, I like movie, 5 stars. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, like
It's above average. It's okay.
yeah, it's it's
barely a recommendation.
no, like watch it. That's what a 6 is. Like I'll watch this again at some point. It might be another 8-10 years. I don't know, but I own it. I'm not getting rid of it. I will watch the documentary because I'm very psyched to see that. I do think like I miss this one, and that's kind of the problem. And I've already said my issues. Now, if they remake it, what they'll do is they'll do a phase 1 where we get introduced with every single Monster Squad character separately in a movie. Then we'll get the bad guys movies. So we'll get like a Dracula movie, and then maybe we'll get a Dracula and Frankenstein team up movie. No, they'll get a 6-episode series on Netflix probably, if I had to guess.
Buddy cop show.
Yeah. And then like
building the MSU, the Monster Squad universe.
Then the creature, he'll get a movie, but like
down for
Bride
that,
of Frankenstein, she will
like that
get a a TV show as well, and that's all going to come together to eventually get the Monster Squad reboot. So
was it Universal tried to do that with all these movies, right?
I think they're
still
still
technically
trying
doing it terribly.
You shut your mouth. That's
The Mummy was awful, but Invisible Man I really enjoyed.
I say Invisible Man's great.
Yes,
because
That
it didn't
wasn't
try to
Universal.
tie into everything.
Yeah,
that wasn't Universal. Universal wasn't doing that one.
Oh, okay, that's Blumhouse, right? It was Blumhouse.
That was
Yeah.
Blumhouse. Yep.
Yeah,
And
But it
that
was still.
Dracula Untold wasn't awful.
I didn't watch it.
But that wasn't a
Reborn
part
was-
of the. That wasn't part of the.
That was what was kicking it off.
Yeah, that was when I kicked it
They
off.
tried to, and then they
I
went.
thought Mummy
oh,
kicked it
maybe
off.
we won't do this.
Nah,
And
Mummy
then
was
they
the
did
second
Mummy
attempt.
with
So,
stupid Tom Cruise.
The Dracula one was, we're doing the Dracula movie, and quietly they were like, this is supposed to start a multiverse.
Mhm, and
The
it-
Mummy was, hey, we're doing the
This has got
multiverse
Dr.
now.
Jekyll. Yeah.
Well, I had Tom Cruise. That's
Russell
what they were
Crowe,
pushing
Tom
on, yeah.
Cruise, and a garbage story.
All right. So do we
Yeah,
have...
Charlie.
Oh,
What's
wait.
yours? Yeah, you gotta go. Don't leave me like. I like the movie. I just want to like it more.
I'm totally happy you went first because I was already feeling bad, but I was like at a 7.5. So
Oh.
you are now the way low one.
Yeah,
And I don't feel bad
you
saying
suck,
7.5.
Nate sucks. Nate sucks. Nate sucks.
I might be wrong from time to time.
I am in that. I think this is
I love you, Nate.
absolutely a perfect gateway horror movie for children. The problem is now we're running out of kids that actually care about this type of stuff. This definitely is an 80s movie. I get it. I totally follow it. It's a product of its time. It's definitely one that I will probably wait longer, like a year or two, and then be like, oh, I haven't watched Monster Squad in a really long time. And Dustin won't stop messaging me about when I watched it last. So
And
let
then he
me
keeps
watch it.
messaging me to
Yeah.
message you to message me.
So
Hey, Nate, did Charlie watch Monster Squad today?
I don't know. Hey, he was in the shop, so he might have.
maybe. I mean, I don't even own this movie. I missed out on the desire to even buy it because it was gone for so long. Not saying I wouldn't. So if I got like a really cool release of it, or some 4K or something like that I find, I'd probably buy it. But yeah, 7.5. It's definitely a good movie. I recommend it.
7.5 is way better than 6.
It definitely is. It's 1.5 better. So.
I think Nate was, because he was talking about Letterboxd, which goes to 5 stars. He was saying he was giving it 6 stars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is
Was
that
he
what it was?
spinal tapping it?
Yeah,
Turning
this
it to
review
11?
goes to 6.
I'm pretty sure 6 is lower than your rating for Leprechaun in Space.
No, that was I gave like a 3.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, I think you two gave it way higher than
No,
I did.
I
so.
gave
He
it a
gave it
high
super
score.
high. I
It
might have
was
given it a
so much
3.5.
fun.
And that's the other thing. I do wonder, like, watching this with you guys, I probably would have had more fun with it too. Just
I
because
would've
of your
quoted it the whole
guys'
time.
yeah, exactly. And I would have enjoyed that. Like your guys' love for it probably would have rubbed off on me a little bit, Like
Ew, I don't
Rub
wanna
that
off
love
right
all
now.
over you.
rub
Vic.
it on me, please.
Between us,
I
rub
need
it.
it.
Oh, kids, go.
Between us rubbing off on you and Charlie eating Pete's wife's pie, I don't know what's.
Oh my God. Good luck,
We're riding
good luck
that PG-13 line just right, boys.
editing this one.
Hey,
All right.
I meant to ask you. I meant to ask y'all this earlier. Do you guys know any virgins?
No.
Okay.
What
I have
year
a
is it?
nephew that I hope is still a virgin, yes.
Does it grow back?
Nate doesn't count.
Oh, you mean I have nieces that are also yes. I hope
Pete,
they are.
come on.
What?
Here, you had to make
It
it
was
weird.
more of a rhetorical.
It wasn't. You weren't
Yeah.
supposed to
Yes.
answer it. That's just as weird as the Phoebe thing. God.
Okay, cut all that out.
No, you get to live in that, Pete.
Yeah.
You just
All
made
right,
the
Sean.
It's just
Pete's got to get off early to go register.
Oh, I'm already registered.
now. I need to go grab that Chris Jericho soundbite. You just made the list. That's why. That's going to be my new drop that I put on things.
That's good. You put
All
that on the
right,
list,
Nate.
yeah.
Do you have a trash opinion that's not yours on this?
We do.
All right. Well, here's the thing.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage. And then I pick up the trash can and I smash the guy on the head.
Oh, that's going to be a disaster.
All right. So this one comes from I Want a Toupee back in April of 2022.
I
Who
don't.
gave this 2 out of 10 and said overrated movie full of annoying kids. Just started watching Monster Squad for the first time, and no wonder it was a flop when it was released. This movie is lame, full of annoying kid actors with big mouths. The monsters look good, but they are wasted among a dire script and those annoying kids. I gave the movie 2 out of 10 based on the fact they tried with the monsters, but everything else falls flat. Sorry, I quit the movie 45 minutes in, but I laugh at all those 50-year-olds who still think this movie is great. I couldn't find one rant review on YouTube of this dross. Nobody wants to be seen not to like it. The Emperor's New Clothes.
Huh?
What?
I don't know what that part meant.
Does he have a tagline that we don't understand?
Maybe.
Do I need to read all his other reviews to understand?
Backstory.
Yeah, where's this guy has an evil villain backstory?
Yeah,
really
I want a
need to know.
toupee.
I'm just saying, if
Emperor's
you're
New
getting
Clothes.
45,
Mic
if you're turning
drop.
the movie off 45 minutes in, you can't form an opinion on this.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
You can't. No opinion if you turn the movie off. Yeah.
Unless it's HK, and I wasn't allowed to turn the movie off at 45
Yeah.
minutes.
Unless it was The Crow.
Oh, stop.
No, that's the new Crow you're talking about.
Oh.
He's gonna love the new Crow. That's gonna be what gets Nate.
Yeah,
Dustin's gonna
Pete's
absolutely
gonna love the new and
they're
so
gonna
pissed.
love the new Skarsgård version, and Nate's just gonna be like, Nate's
Skarsgård
gonna
is
be
in
the
this?
yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Nate's gonna be
SoundCloud
the-
rapper.
So
I
I
don't know
want
what
to
that
say
means.
this. I want to defend this design a little bit. Okay, let me go.
I mean, you could die on that hill. That's cool.
No, so there is a comic rendition that looks almost exactly like this character. So this isn't unprecedented. It's not a new design. So and it does make sense if you think about within the context of what the character was, and he's involved in a music scene. You can edit this out. The 90s grunge scene doesn't exist in 2023. You know what does? What probably is equivalent of that type of scene would probably be SoundCloud rappers and that whole thing.
That because I didn't know that with the comic. Is that Eric Draven though?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
In the updated one, okay.
Yeah.
I'm better with that then. It's like if they are doing the
I'm
old
Still not
one,
going to see it.
Oh, I'm gonna see it. It comes out the day after my birthday.
I'm gonna see it because Skarsgård's still going to be great in it. That's what pisses me
That's
off.
why I'm seeing it.
Here's what you got to remember. I'm not defending it, but we are staring at 1 millisecond of a scene in a movie.
We've seen 3 pictures of that stupid haircut
Exactly.
and those stupid tattoos.
The haircut doesn't bother me. I love that the mullet's coming back. I don't care about
Yeah,
that.
I support the mullet.
Yeah, we'll MacGyver the hell out of this. I don't care.
It's not a good mullet though.
But what
there
I'm
are
saying
good
is
Swayze mullets, and then there's that.
we are tearing apart
show you a mullet that
a
was
scene, a
amazing.
clip that will barely probably even be seen in the movie. And all I can do when I hear everyone ranting, and look, I'm not defending, but I also was one of the loudest people that was like, I do not want Heath Ledger as a Joker, and I had to eat my words.
Oh yeah, I was there
Did.
too. Absolutely, I was there too. So
I
that's
was pro
that's
Heath Ledger, but then Jared Leto, I saw that and went, well, that's gonna be garbage, and I was
that
right.
was
You're
Jared
right.
Leto. That's
yeah.
No one's going to defend Jared Leto.
I was absolutely right on
Jared
that.
Leto's
the
not
Heath
gonna
Ledger
defend
thing is
Jared
what
Leto.
the Heath Ledger thing is what changed my opinion on like not judging it until I
Give it a
watched the
chance.
film. Yeah,
Give it a chance.
because that changed
That's
my
the
whole
thing.
perspective.
Skarsgård's probably going to be great in it. I hate the character design.
The director is not my favorite either. So
Who's directing it? I didn't realize.
I
Didn't
think
look
his
it
name
up.
is. I think it's Rupert Sanders. I'm trying to remember what else he did. Ghost in the Shell, and which is okay. And then
I
there's
didn't watch it.
And then there's a movie before it he did that I can't remember what it is now off the top of my head, but I remember I didn't like it. But
It's also been in production hell for like 15 years.
it was supposed to come out next year.
Oh
and
boy,
they moved it up to June.
Production hell.
They
Yeah, right.
flip-flopped it with Ballerina because for some reason Ballerina needs reshoots, like pretty major reshoots. So I don't
Yeah.
know what they were. And
Oh.
Ballerina is in the John Wick universe.
Yep.
So I don't know what they were screwing up with that
Like
movie.
the vampire movie?
No,
it's the Ballerina.
What am I thinking of? What's the what that has
Annabelle or something like that.
no,
that's coming out.
Dustin,
is that what it's
no-
called?
It's the name of the
Abigail.
girl.
Nothing
Abigail.
else in it.
Abigail. Okay,
Abigail.
Abigail.
I never
So-
want to think what you're thinking, Dustin.
No, what are you talking about?
the question that you posed, what am I thinking? Is I don't know. I don't ever want to be in that brain of yours. No.
Yeah, no, Abigail is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
No, that,
Well, we also got to remember we're coming off of the strike too, so they now need to space things out because they weren't making movies last year. But yeah, so now I'm a little leery about what they're doing with the ballerina because I was looking forward to that.
Same.
But I'm gonna go watch The Crow. I will go to theaters and see it, and I'll hold my thoughts for it. I mean, we got a remake of Roadhouse that's got everybody up in arms. I'm gonna watch it.
I think it looks fun. I think it looks fun.
I think it looks totally fun. I'm gonna have fun with it.
Looks way better than it had any right to be.
And I can watch
You're
it at home
wrong.
because it's gonna be on Prime, so I don't even have to.
Not
go
to
anywhere.
mention, Jake's got a 257 pack on his chest in that last
Exactly.
still from the movie.
Shredded.
Good lord!
And no matter what, there's still 3 really bad Crow movies, so
right,
Yes,
it might just be a
really bad.
fourth one.
That's
It
my
had a
thing.
really bad TV show too, so there's even more bad.
Oh yeah, there was a bad TV
There
show.
was a bad
Yes.
Wow.
That was
This
my
isn't
argument.
new.
That's my argument. Is everyone wants to poo-poo on this before we see anything? I was like, are y'all just forgetting that we had 3 really bad movies and a TV show after this? We're just going to ignore all that.
Edward Furlong's just out there walking around like he's over there like. Whew.
Don't look so bad now, do I?
Please don't remember my movie. All right. Well, that is wow. We're already wow. Okay. Stop it, Pete. Don't you dare do the let's wrap this up moment with your hand. You weren't driving.
Yeah, who are you to even say, let's keep on going? We're going to start playing the Oscar music for you during all of February.
Look at me. Oh, it's almost his bedtime. That's what.
That's why you get a little grumpy Pete.
All right. Well, Dustin and Paul, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about your little podcast corner that you have going on?
So Paul and I are joined by our good friend, Sean. We are the trio that is the Flicks and Friends podcast. We are a variety movie podcast. Everything from spooky movies to action movies to animated movies. We theme our months. And we just have fun. We sit around just like you guys and just talk about movies. We're on every social media platform you could find. And on almost every podcatcher, I feel, minus iHeartRadio and YouTube.
Yep. And we were just on for Wayne's World not too long ago.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Listen to Pete. That's where I know these guys from.
Yeah.
Samsonite. I was way off. I'm going to grab that soundbite too from now on. I'm going to have that and the Chris Jericho soundbite. Those are added to the list.
You just made the list.
And where you can find them, you can also find us. We are on Facebook at Give Me Back My Horror Movies, the Facebook group. Give Me Back My Action Movies, the Facebook group. Both of us are on Instagram. We are on X, Threads, TikTok. We are on YouTube, so you won't find Dustin there, but you will find us. Where else are we? Well, hopefully we'll be coming back here pretty soon for the Action Elite streams on Wednesdays. Took a little bit of a hiatus. And Nate, what do we got on deck for next week? Or am I the one that's got to say what's on deck for next week?
Technically, I had in what I thought was a surefire winner for the next vote was the Power Rangers movie. But apparently, the audience let us down.
Whoops.
The audience decided not to vote correctly for next week, and they decided they were going to, throw away their votes for Last Action Hero, a movie that we could have done any other time, and I don't feel is very kid-friendly, and I don't know why I'm so upset about this, because I like this movie a lot.
Yeah. It is a kids movie
compared to Monster Squad. It's tame.
It's as kid friendly as Monster Squad. It's on the same level. It's on the same level.
Yep.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, so my memory could be very, very wrong. As far as it not being a kids movie, but no, you're one to talk with your memory, sir.
Who are you?
Where am I? What am I doing?
What is this?
What is
Who
this
are you,
microphone?
ghost on a computer?
Pete said Paul's been on the show 10 times before.
When could they start making the video move?
Can't even. I can't get a word in.
There's sound. These are talkies.
Did someone say the library?
So yeah, a little peek behind the curtain. The entire reason the poll got started was because I tossed out Last Action Hero should be one of our picks, and Nate was vehemently.
I threw a
against
tantrum.
it. He did.
He's
like
had a temper tantrum.
he was nope,
No,
not gonna happen.
No.
I'm arguing it. Then he tries to arbitrarily pull rules out of his ass and go, you know what? That movie's PG-13, and we can't do that on Kid Friendly Month. And then he picks Gremlins 2, which is just PG-13.
I thought Gremlins 2 was PG, to be fair, in my defense. Like,
I mean,
Gremlins was.
all right.
Flashing Gremlins.
Gremlins would have been PG-13 had it came out later.
I'm an adult who doesn't
Gremlins-
pay attention to a rating scale because I don't care, because I'll watch all the movies that I want if it's R-rated or not. I don't care about the boo-boos and the bad words and the boobies. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. So
that's okay. Our listeners vindicated me, and you guys picked Last Action Hero, and we're gonna have a blast with it.
much like Pete stacked the deck to make sure he won with this pick, you did the same thing, because on an action movie podcast, having a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course he's gonna win. Of course.
As he
Even
says
though
here with two
Power
people.
Rangers is the way better movie to introduce kids to with action movies.
While Dustin and Paul sit here, no one can see it. They're holding Power Ranger VHSs. So he had votes. But
I voted on both streams. I voted on every avenue I could vote because I wanted this movie.
You didn't recruit enough people.
You know what? You know what?
The problem is I didn't let people vote twice, so
I
I knew
know,
who
I
was
know.
double voting.
Look, I was just trying to get people to step up to Ivan's Ooze.
She had sticks and it made a whistling sound.
Pete, calm down over there.
Pete's gone. So yeah, we are doing Last Action Hero, which is going to be our final movie for Kid Friendly Month. It's
also stupid, but whatever.
Shut up, Nate.
No, I'm probably going
Would
to
you
quit the
quit bitching?
podcast at this
You're
point.
done being.
No,
so-
I'm
you-
not. I'm so upset with the both of you.
You had the chance to
Too
add your
bad.
picks, and the
You had your
people
picks,
voted. This isn't
and people
me
voted.
going, forget you, Nate. I don't care what you say. I'm picking this. This was, let's let the people decide. That's what happened. That's democracy that you love so much.
I don't
You
think I
just
like
watch
it that much.
You just watched democracy leave in thunderous roar.
Well,
so,
I also have watched Democracy do recounts and throw stuff away. And also, maybe I'm going to blame the machines, the voting machines, too.
blaming the Instagrams
I'm blaming
and
the social
Facebooks.
medias because it probably shadow banned me.
This election stolen.
Mark Zuckerberg in his fake news didn't
Yeah.
let Power Rangers
Didn't
win.
let Power Rangers seek the audience it was supposed to seek.
Well, Nate, when we cover Power Rangers, you are more than welcome to come on to the
Good.
show.
And don't invite these two.
We've already done. We've already done Turbo.
We've already done Turbo.
Good. I don't want to do that one ever.
No, it's bad. It's bad. It's real bad.
Nate's been on the record. It stops at the original group.
Yeah,
There's no
that's
more
when I quit
Power
caring about
Rangers
Power
after
Rangers.
that.
Did you watch the 2017?
Hell no.
Dude, it was,
Yes,
dude,
you
it's good.
actually
It's
talked
good.
about it.
I like
Oh,
that.
wait. The movie. I'm sorry.
Pete did this the exact same time last time. Pete asked him if he's seen the new movie. He's like, no, I didn't. Wait a minute. Was that the movie? Yeah, I watched it. It was
Yeah,
good.
that was actually a really good
Is
movie.
there
I
not
did
a
really like
movie
that. Yeah. I thought
17?
it came out like 2010 or something.
What's wrong with you?
You rub off on me sometimes.
Yeah, what's wrong with
Hey.
that?
You like it, don't you? Oh,
Sometimes.
All right, we're done rubbing things. Okay,
No,
guys.
that movie was really good. Yeah. Good.
All right. Well, that's it for us
I didn't
tonight.
say
Thanks.
really good. I said it was.
They're still going. I don't know what's going on.
You gotta
Well,
wrap
'cause-
it up, son.
We're done. It's over. Can I
Yeah.
end the show? Yeah,
done?
Pete, I'm doing
I
the
know.
Pete thing now. I'm like, wrap it up, boys. All right, Dustin, I know you're dying to do it, but why don't you get us out of here with the good word?
What's the good word?
I don't know, whatever. It's a line usually.
It's
from
whatever
the
you want
movie.
to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the line of the movie you love.
All I'm saying is you learn valuable life lessons from the Monster Squad, and that is Wolfman's got nards.
Wolfman's got darts.
Now, let's talk about how I get back home.
See what February does? People forget we do bits because we didn't want to do them during your movies, Pete.
Meow meow. Meow 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 meow. I think one of my favorite throwaway lines in this movie was, hey, how'd the dog get up here?
Oh,
They're
in the treehouse.
They're up in the treehouse. It's a totally self-aware joke, and they're like, "How did the dog get up here?"
And then just goes to the next scene. I like the one where they're talking about. It's like, oh no, I'm pretty sure we're at war with Vietnam. They said so in Rambo.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Hey, Nate, what is your letterbox?
Let's
Nate
see.
sucks at movies.com.